I'm gonna start off with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh primer. I really like this stuff. Next, I'm gonna be taking the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, but on a side note, look how much more radiant and hydrated that primer from ColourPop made my skin look. It really is like one of my favorites when my skin's feeling a little bit more dull. So I'm just going to lightly apply this all over my skin. Gives you a little bit of coverage and tint, but just a whole lot of illuminator as well. And I'm just gonna blend it in with a little brush. I'm gonna add just a touch of eyeshadow primer. This is from Lila B, the Virtuous Veil Concealer Eye Primer. And I'm just applying it to my eyes with a Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. Just going to apply this all the way from right underneath my eyebrow, all the way to my lash line. And I'm also gonna drag just a touch along my lower lash line, because we will be putting shadows down there as well. Just to set that eye primer in place, I'm going to use a little bit of the Lila B Powder Foundation. I wear the shade Be Pure. And I'm just going to tap that right over my eyelid just to prevent any creasing. And it'll also just help all of the shadows blend out a little bit easier. I'm going to start off with a little bit of bronzer on a Zoeva 231 brush. And just looking straight ahead where my eye creases, I'm gonna trace that with bronzer to just create a more defined looking crease. So keeping my eye open while I do this so I can have as much precision as possible. This is Be Fabulous from Lila B Shadow Quad. I'm gonna start with this slate gray right here, and I'm gonna use this shade again with my eye open, and I am taking it all the way from the outer corner back here and pulling it into the inner corner. I have hooded eyes, so as you can see, when I'm building up the intensity of this shade, the hood will touch my lid and then I have a little bit of transfer. But we'll fix that. You just want to concentrate on continuing to really build up this shade in the crease. And then I'm actually gonna take this brush from the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. It's actually like perfect for doing a little bit more of a chiseled crease situation. And I'm gonna take the black from the palette. It's actually more of like a super dark navy black. Just barely blue. And again, with my eyes open, I'm going to look straight into my mirror, and from the outer corner of my eye to the inner corner, I'm gonna chisel out my crease. And then using the blending side, I'm just gonna soften the edges of the shadow out. Okay, so now that I've got like the general shape down and it's pretty blended out, we're going to clean up the eyelid. I'm taking Vanilla Kiss from Laura Mercier, picking it up on a 234 from Zoeva. Just going like this. And I am going to apply this all over the eyelid. Get it all the way in the inner corner to the outer corner. And I'm gonna apply it up into the crease. And then I'm just taking a little nail art brush, just a super tiny nail art brush, and perfecting this line where the cream shadow meets the powder shadow. I'm gonna take this shade right here, that light vanilla shimmery shade, and I'm gonna apply that all on top of that cream shadow. I'm gonna move into the base for a while and then we'll finish up the rest of the eyes. So I'm gonna take a matte foundation because this was a time of matte skin. I'm using the Lila B Marvelous Matte Foundation in the shade Be Pure. I'm also going to use their foundation brush to apply this. This is a really nice, lightweight, creamy matte foundation. It's gonna give you a nice matte finish, as you guys can see, but it's not a dry matte foundation, which I think is really important. I'm gonna build this up to medium coverage. I don't want it to be like fully flawless, but I'm just gonna take it to about 2 layers. For concealer, I'm gonna use my NARS Radiant Creamy because it is my favorite. And I'm just gonna pop this right under my eyes just to brighten a bit. And I'm also gonna, you know, do my usual little bit of liquid highlighting with it too. I'm gonna start warming up my skin a bit. So I'm gonna take the Chanel Teint de Soleil Cream Bronzing Base. Gonna pick this up with a Zoeva 127. And I'm just gonna start by applying this to the cheeks, warming that up a bit. I just apply it in these little stippling motions and take it into the apple so you get that warmth there. This is also an ideal natural bronzing product. You guys know me, I love going in with a ton of bronzer and just really loading up my face with bronzer, but this is great for naturally bronzing your skin and keeping it a little bit more true to the time frame we're trying to replicate. Moving on to finishing up the eyes, I'm going to take a black liquid liner. This one is from e.l.f. and I am going to do a winged eye and just pull it all the way out. And then we're going to wing it out following the edge of the eyeshadow. Just like that, and then fill in the wing. All right, now I'm gonna take a nude eyeliner. This one's from LA Girl. It's in the shade Super Bright, and I'm gonna run this in my waterline. This is a long wearing nude eyeliner, so it's gonna last a lot longer than something that isn't gel based. And then for the lower lash line, I'm gonna pop just a tiny bit of this shimmery one right on the lower lash line, just so I get a little smudge of color down there. For mascara, I'm gonna do 1 coat of Maybelline Lash Stiletto, just right on my top lashes so that they hold a curl. And then working pretty quickly while that mascara is still wet, I'm just gonna build on top of it with the Clinique High Impact Mascara, because this one will give it a little bit more of that like clumpy, you know, like in the 70s and 60s, they did that really clumpy, flirty looking lash, but it was like more clumpy than what I typically go for. So this actually builds on top of itself really well because it's so volumizing. You'll get that kind of clumpy, clustery looking lash that they had. And then I'm also gonna take this on the lower lashes as well. I'm gonna let this mascara dry and then we will do falsies. I jump all over the face when I'm doing makeup, it's fine. For blush, I'm going to be using a little bit more of like a peachy nude because that was one that I was noticing a lot. So I'm gonna take Sun Honey. This is from Too Faced. It's a little bit more of a peachy ginger nude. And I'm just going to lightly apply this right onto the apples of the cheeks. I'm using a MAC 126 SES brush for this. Highlight is not really, you know, gonna make or break this look. I'm not noticing a ton of highlight in my inspo photos, but I want to add a little bit of highlight, so skip it if you want or wear it if you want. I'm going to use a little bit of this Bare Minerals highlight. This one is in the shade Free. On a Zoeva 126, I'm just going to lightly apply a little bit of highlight to the high points of my face. Give my skin a little bit of glow. This was another thing that I thought was super cute. So you can take your liquid liner and do little tiny strokes in your lower lash line just to create a little bit more fullness in the lower lash line. I would say start at the outer corner and then go into the middle of your eye, because that way if you don't like the way they look in the middle, you start it at the outer corner where they look a little bit longer, I've found on myself personally, I don't like taking them into the middle of my eye. It just makes my eyes look a little weird. I'm also gonna take the Kiss 03 lashes with some of the Eyeshadow glue. For someone like me who has really tiny eyes, these are gonna create a lot of impact and they're gonna make my lashes look a lot more full and thick. So I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna apply them as full strips. You can cut them up if you wish and only do a half lash if that's your vibe. I'm gonna wear them full on. All right, while I'm waiting for the glue to dry, I'm gonna line my lips really quick. I'm using MAC Hover, and I am going to overline with this. So just right outside my natural lip line, I'm bringing the lip liner. And then for lip colors, I'm gonna take Claudia from Natasha Denona and just lightly apply that to the outer corners. That, and then right in the center, I'm going to use Liron, which is slightly lighter, and I want that pouty effect, so I'm gonna apply that right in the middle of the lips. And then just a touch of gloss to, again, make my lips look a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna use Lila B's Be Elegant. All right, guys, this is the finished look, and I say this very, very rarely, but this is one of my favorite looks I've ever filmed. I really wanted to go all out with it. I wanted to do the bubble flip hair, and I love the way this turned out. It was definitely very time intensive, but I had so much fun filming this for you guys, and I'm just so happy with the way it came out. I think it looks amazing, and I also think that this could be a really great Halloween makeup look. Maybe if you don't have a costume planned, you could just do your hair in a bubble flip and do the 60s makeup, and it could be like really fun. I don't know. It's just a suggestion. I really enjoyed doing the 90s makeup tutorial. I had so much fun doing this makeup tutorial. So if there are any other time frames of makeup that you guys would like to see tutorials for, leave a suggestion down below. If it gives me a vibe, I'm into it. There are some time frames of makeup that I just don't think are like, they're just not my style, and I just like have no interest in them. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if it makes me feel some type of way and it gives me a vibe, then like I'm all for it. So if there's any other, you know, ones that you want to see, maybe I'll turn it into a series. You never know. Okay, I'm gonna list and link everything in the description box down below. Please leave comments, feedback. I'd love to see you guys tagged in looks like this. If you recreate based on this tutorial, I would love to see that. I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye, guys.